And now we're going to be looking at finding a percent of a number using decimal form. So here it gives us the example to start off. All we're going to be doing here is taking our percentage and writing it in its decimal form and then multiplying it by our whole number. And so here when it says what is 14% of 30, well, remember that word 30 means multiply. So what is 14% times 30? And so here we're just going to take that decimal point, which I have here in blue, and move it 1, 2 spots to the left. So now if I were to rewrite it, it would be 0.14 multiplied by 30. I can grab my calculator and use it. So I'm going to do 0.14 times 30, and that is going to be 4.2. I always like to think of these problems in terms of money. Like here, let's say I'm saving 14% of an item that costs $30. I'd be saving $4.2. All right, let's go ahead and do one more here. We're going to look for 36%, and remember that word of means multiplied by 45. And so again, we're going to take that decimal point, which always starts at the end of a number, okay? It's not going to start here. It's not going to start here. It always needs to start at the rightmost end of a number because that doesn't change the value of it to start. And then we got to move it over 1, 2 spots to change the percentage into a decimal. And then we rewrite it as 0.36 or simply just 0.36. And then I'm going to type in my calculator 0.36 multiplied by 45 equals 16.2. And again, if we're thinking about this in terms of money, I would take 0.36 or 36% of $45. That saves me $16.20. All right, so you're going to go ahead and complete the rest of these problems, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you're going to move into these word problems here. All right. So the only difference between these word problems and the last problems we just did is that instead of it just saying, hey, what is 36% of 45? What is 45% of 30? It's going to actually put into real world context because that's when we're going to see it, right? In the real world. So it says use what you have learned about finding a percent of a number to solve each word problem. And what we learned was simply just moving that decimal place over 2 spots, multiplying it by that number. All right. So let's go ahead and interpret this first one. It says a pie shop bakes 500 pies each week. If 40%, so there's our percentage right here. If 40% of those apple pies, or pies are apple, excuse me, how many pies are apple? All right, so 500 represents all the pies. 40% represents the percent that are apple. And so now they have it sometimes where you multiply from the fraction form. We don't want to do that, okay? Just ignore this. We're instead going to multiply using the decimal form. And so again, we just move that decimal place over 1, 2 spots. 1, 2 spots. That's how we got it here. So we do 0.40 times 500, and that gives us 200. So 200 of the pies are apple. All right? So now we're going to look at this next one. It says if 25%. So right away, I'm going to write 25%. I've identified my percentage of your classmates have cats. Okay, 25% have cats. And your class has 20 students. So that's going to be what we're going to need to multiply it by. How many students have cats? All right, so here, move that decimal place over. 1, 2 spots. 0.25 multiplied by 20 students. What I want you to look for here is the fact that this is 1/4, right? 0.25 is 1/4. And so you can think, okay, what is 1/4 of 20? Well, that's going to be 5. So here, that's going to give me 5 for students who have cats. All right, so again, all we're doing today is moving that decimal place over 2 spots and multiplying by the number. You'll see this all the time when you're talking about clothing options in terms of percent off, percent off, percent off. You see it every store you go into, you can figure out how much you're saving. Or if you see word problems like these, you can use the method to figure it out as well. So you're going to finish off these word problems here. And the second set of word problems, some of them involve tip, which, my goodness, I can't tell you how much I have to realize, all right, what is 18% or 20% or 15%? Whatever I'm choosing for my tip, it's so important that I realize what that is because I need to have the exact number I want to give to my waiter or waitress. All right. We'll talk about a cool method of how to solve for the tip in a different video. All right. But go ahead and complete the 3 worksheets. One of them is finding a percent of a number using decimal form. And then the word problems, both using decimal form as well. So you're going to be doing the same thing for all 3 worksheets. Just ignore the fraction ones because you typically aren't going to see that method of solving. It's not as efficient, in my opinion. All right, thank you very much for your time.